Welcome back. This is the Ben Shapiro Show. We're taking your calls at 855-236-3228. Braden in Las Vegas, Nevada. You're on the Ben Shapiro Show. Go for it, Braden.
Hey, Ben. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Go for it, sir.
I'm a 20-year-old conservative in college right now, and I wanted to ask you, when in the near future do you think that liberal college campuses and the liberal population in America overall will start to shift away from their flawed philosophies? And if not soon, what do you think the harm will be to future generations if leftists continue to silence the population and dominate cultures, and even if conservatism eventually becomes hollowed out?
Yeah, Braden, this is the real concern, obviously. I mean, the thing that I'm most worried about is changing the constitutional bargain such that there is no recovery possible. Obviously, as long as free speech is still available, as long as freedom of religion is still available, as long as social institutions still remain, there's always hope for a future regrowth of conservatism. If you had asked conservatives back in 1964 when Barry Goldwater was getting shellacked whether the country was ever going to turn to the right again, probably people would have said no. Right? It seemed as though the ascent of the left was eternal and forever. And by 1980, Ronald Reagan was president. So I'm never a member of the sort of complete despair contingent. But at the same time, when you have the left trying to openly redraw the boundaries of what is allowed to be said in the United States, that's the part that's scary. Because if you're not even allowed to make the argument, if you're prosecuted for making the argument, you got a problem. I mean, Elizabeth Warren came out this week and suggested that it should be prosecuted to distribute disinformation online. Well, what constitutes disinformation? Like, if I claimed that Elizabeth Warren was Native American, would that constitute disinformation for which I could be prosecuted? Or if I claimed, for example, that Medicare for All would only cost $19 trillion instead of $33 trillion, and that I was going to get all the money for it from a wealth tax, would that be disinformation that's prosecutable? If Elizabeth Warren runs the show, of course, the answer is no. But if I say that Elizabeth Warren is a damned liar, then presumably I get prosecuted. You know, it's the shutting down of the mechanisms of debate that frightens me the most. And what the left is doing right now, and the attempt to shut down the ability of religious people to teach their kids what they want, I think that actually comes to conflict. I mean, I think that's the breaking point. I think when you have states like California that make it illegal for you to homeschool your kids and teach them traditional sexual morality, I think at that point, so many people leave the state that the state completely collapses, and or people start resisting the state, and then things get pretty ugly pretty quickly. Braden, I really appreciate the call. Jason in Iowa, go for it. You have a weird question, Jason?
I was just wondering why you have not had Ozzy Osbourne on the Sunday special.
Well, I mean, I think that in order to be on the Sunday special, you have to speak intelligible English. And I'm not sure an hour of Ozzy Osbourne saying words that don't appear to be words. I'll be honest with you, I love Crazy Train. Crazy Train is a great song, right? I mean, like, it is a fantastic song. Ozzy Osbourne is a talented guy when he's not biting the heads off bats, but I think that's going to be kind of a weird Sunday special. Jason, appreciate the very, very odd call. The Aaron in Alabama, you're on the Ben Shapiro Show. Go for it, Aaron.
Back in college, I had a question. What of President Trump's 100-day plan has he actually accomplished? This question is not just for me, but for my family and everyone else who wants to know whether President Trump is actually doing a good job and is not a crazy man as the media portrays him.
So there are a bunch of different things that he proposed to accomplish in his first 100 days, and I'm going back and looking at it now, so I don't have it memorized. So he had proposed a hiring freeze on all federal employees. I don't believe that has happened, but he has reduced federal regulations. He has required that for every new federal regulation, 2 existing regulations must be eliminated. I believe he's kept that one. He had proposed a 5-year ban on White House and congressional officials becoming lobbyists after they leave government service. I don't believe that has been effectuated. He had proposed a complete ban on foreign lobbyists raising money for American elections. I believe he did do that. He announced his intention to renegotiate NAFTA. That was done. He announced withdrawal from the TPP. That was done. He directed his Secretary of the Treasury to label China a currency manipulator. I believe he backed off of that one after looking at it. He did allow projects like the Keystone Pipeline to move forward. He talked about canceling money to the UN climate change programs, and I believe he has done that as well. He has canceled unconstitutional executive actions by President Obama. He has attempted to cancel federal funding to sanctuary cities, although that has been challenged in court. He has moved toward more removal of criminal illegal immigrants from the country. So, in other words, a lot of his plan he actually did push. It didn't do it within the 100 days, but a lot of it he has pushed. And this is one of the reasons why I'm a lot more sanguine about President Trump than I was about candidate Trump. Already coming up, we're going to bring you the latest on impeachment. Could this thing be over as soon as tomorrow night? We'll bring you the updates. This is the Ben Shapiro